Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. We are jumping right into some seriously fascinating source material today. We're looking at a recent, highly publicized keynote speech that Prince Harry gave in Washington, D.C. And look, this is absolutely not your standard royal news update. We're unpacking an article from the News International to see exactly how one of the most recognized people on the planet is connecting his own intensely personal battles with the press to the massive global conversation about data, algorithms, and our digital future. So let's just get right into it. From birth. Think about that for a second. When did you first start worrying about your digital footprint or, your personal privacy? Maybe it was when you got your very first smartphone or when you finally joined social media. Well, during his speech, Prince Harry stated that his connection to privacy, or rather the complete lack of it, begins in a very different place than it does for the rest of us. He quite literally pointed out that his experience with privacy invasion began the exact moment he was born. It's a really striking hook, right? It immediately forces us to totally reframe how we think about this whole subject. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. A life without privacy. 2. The media legal battles. 3. Tech, algorithms, and kids. And finally, 4. A vision for the future. Starting off with Section 1, A life without privacy and the personal cost. According to our source material, Prince Harry addressed his foundational issues with media intrusion totally head-on. But to really grasp the weight of what he was saying, we've got to understand the room he was speaking to. This was the APP Global Summit in Washington, D.C. That's an event focused squarely on privacy, AI governance, and cybersecurity law. It's a bit surprising to see a British royal addressing a room full of tech wonks and lawyers, but this was absolutely not just some ceremonial event. He was presenting his own life experiences to the exact people who are tasked with writing the rules for our digital world. And man, he did not sugarcoat the reality. He explained that fighting these powerful institutions yields absolutely no personal gain for him. Instead, he described the whole ordeal as coming at a, quote, personal and reputational cost for me, my wife, and our children. By explicitly naming his family like that, he takes this massive, kind of abstract concept of media intrusion and grounds it in the very real, very heavy toll it's taken on his own household. Moving right along to Section 2, the media legal battles and 7 years of litigation. So to understand why he was speaking at a cybersecurity summit in the first place, we have to look at the tangible legal actions he has actually taken. The issues date all the way back to the early 2000s, which is when he says the systemic and unlawful invasions of his privacy began. Jumping forward, we see a major milestone in 2023 with the Mirror Group damages, followed by a 2025 settlement with The Sun, all of which culminates in this 2026 summit speech. Mapping it out chronologically like this really shows us the sheer scale and the incredible duration of his fight. And to really quantify that duration, 7. In his speech, he emphasized that he has spent 7 full years in continuous litigation fighting these cases. 7 years. That shows a level of persistence that really highlights just how deeply he feels about the issue of unlawful information gathering. Furthermore, this wasn't just some localized fight against one rogue reporter. He waged this battle against 3 different media organizations in the UK. And that number is really vital because it completely underscores his argument that the problem wasn't isolated. In his view, it was a totally systemic issue across multiple major media institutions. The source article also gives us the specific outcomes from these battles. In his 2023 case against Mirror Group newspapers for unlawful information gathering, he was actually awarded £140,600 in damages. So this isn't just an abstract grievance we're talking about. A literal court of law examined the evidence of unlawful activity and attached a very specific 6-figure financial penalty to it. But it goes beyond just monetary damages. He also settled a claim against News Group newspapers in 2025 regarding The Sun. And this settlement featured a full and unequivocal apology for both serious intrusion and unlawful activities. Actually getting that admission of guilt and a formal apology was clearly a major objective in his campaign to hold these institutions accountable. So, the crucial point is this. If you boil down the 7 years, the 3 media organizations, the damages, and the apologies, you get his core foundational grievance: systemic and unlawful invasions of privacy, along with the deliberate cover-up of those actions. He essentially used his platform at the summit to establish all of this as a matter of historical record. But, this raises a totally pivotal question, one that honestly shifts the entire direction of our explainer today. Is this just about the press? Like, is this simply a high-profile figure settling scores with tabloid newspapers? Well, the answer he provided at the summit was a definitive no. And this is exactly where his speech smoothly transitions from his personal past directly into our collective future. Which brings us to Section 3, Tech, Algorithms, and Kids, the Digital Front. Here, the speech shifts gears entirely, moving from personal tabloid battles to universal cybersecurity. He brought focus to a really alarming sequence regarding children. Step 1, platform algorithms track children's behavior. Step 2, tragic events happen involving these children. And Step 3, the grieving parents are met with immense difficulty just trying to get access to their late children's phones. He is pointing out a massive foundational flaw in how tech platforms handle the privacy and the data of literally the most vulnerable among us. We can clearly see the through line of his argument here. It's fascinating. He is taking the traditional media intrusion he experienced himself, the unlawful information gathering of the early 2000s, and he's comparing it directly to the algorithmic tracking of today. The technology has evolved, right? The perpetrators have changed from paparazzi with cameras to lines of code. But the core issue of entities exploiting personal data without consent, that remains exactly the same. Finally, let's look at Section 4, a vision for the future and redesigning privacy. After laying out all these dangers, he presented a really specific call to action regarding AI governance. Listen to this. The fact that humans are the architects of this technology means that humans are in the position to design a better future. I mean, that is incredibly empowering. It completely strips away the myth that algorithms and AI are these uncontrollable forces of nature. They aren't. They are built by people. And because they are built by people, they can be fixed, regulated, and completely redesigned by people. So if we pull together the overarching themes from our source material today, it looks like this. First, taking on powerful institutions comes at a heavy personal cost. Second, privacy can no longer just be some theoretical ideal. It absolutely must become the norm. And third, we are the architects. We have the power and honestly the responsibility to shape a digital landscape that actually protects its users, especially kids. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Based on everything we've unpacked today, from a royal's lifelong battle with tabloids, all the way to the hidden dangers of algorithms on our phones, can we truly redesign our digital world so that the right to privacy is not just an ideal, but the norm? It's a massive challenge, but it's one we literally can't afford to ignore. Take a second to think about your own digital footprint today and ask yourself what the norm should really look like. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking great questions, and I will see you next time.